I don't think about it that much, but the numbers are pretty overwhelming.
Martina Navratilova has seen everything tennis has to offer across 5 decades.
What makes a champion tennis player?
What makes a champion? Anything. It's the same old, champions don't quit until they get it right. They're the first ones in the gym and the last ones to leave, and they're not afraid to fail.
Grand Slam champions, generational talents, packed stadiums, and cultural moments that changed the sport forever. And now she's watching a 20-year-old from the Philippines sell out every court she steps on at Indian Wells, with fans pressing through fences just to watch a practice session. Even she wasn't ready for this. How far do you think Alex Eala goes at Indian Wells 2026? Quarterfinals, semifinals, or something that nobody is expecting? Drop your prediction in the comments right now.
I've only dreamed of making tennis grow in the Philippines, and now I'm bringing a whole new audience to tennis all around the world.
And she's humble and she works hard.
Humble.
Yes, that's why we like her, because she's the face of the Philippines.
Just aside from her talent, she's also thinking of the future.
The Filipinos we have such a strong sense of community, and I feel like when one of us does well or one of us is succeeding, we all have that shared sense of pride.
So when Eala plays, we all get together and we all watch her, support her as a group of people.
Are there actual gatherings?
Oh yeah,
yes.
Really? Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's
We plan our dinners around that stuff.
Really? You signed up for Tennis Channel to watch her?
Yeah, because sometimes they don't show it.
So the year subscribe just in
No,
case?
the monthly.
Oh, the monthly. Okay.
The monthly, just in case she doesn't play, then we don't. Right? You only pay when she plays. It's paid to play.
My friends will tell me that the courts are full at home, and just so many things that I didn't think would happen because of what I'm doing on tour. So.
Let's start with the image that is currently breaking the internet, and apparently also breaking the organizational capacity of the Indian Wells Tennis Garden. Practice Court 6. Not a match court, not a stadium, a practice court, and it has completely lost its mind. Fans are pressing through fences of adjacent courts just to catch a glimpse of Alex Eala hitting balls in a warm-up session before a single competitive point has been played. Christopher Eubanks, a former ATP professional who has been around the sport long enough to know what normal looks like, went on broadcast and said organizers genuinely need to move EA onto a bigger court because the volume of fans flooding the grounds is a legitimate safety concern. A safety concern at a practice session for a player ranked 32nd in the world. That is where we are with Alex Eala at Indian Wells 2026. And the people who thought the Dubai phenomenon was a one-tournament story are having a very uncomfortable week.
We're not concerned about anyone else right now. It's Alex Eala time. This is Alex Eala's moment. Our days, our dinners, our evenings are fixated on when she's playing. That's real tennis fandom right there. Love it.
This is so great for tennis in general.
Yeah.
I think having players like Alex out there, and she's so gracious to all her fans. She spends time with her fans, signs the autographs, takes the photos, and really just shows the Filipino community that it is all about the Philippines, and I still carry that flag with me no matter where I go across the world. And such a young woman at that has that wisdom of just what it means to play for her country.
Only 20 years old, such maturity, already a hero to her entire nation. I mean, it's basically Manny Pacquiao and Alex Eala, right? I mean,
That's it. That's it.
That's who they're looking up to.
Let's go back to Dubai because that is where the blueprint for what is currently happening in California was first written in full. The Dubai Tennis Championships tournament director Salatlak gave an interview after that event that caught the tennis world's attention. He confirmed that every single match involving ELA was completely sold out, not well attended, not heavily ticketed, gone. His exact framing was precise and deliberate. People were desperately trying to get tickets and there were none left. And then he added the part that made everyone stop scrolling. In his entire tenure running the tournament since 2019, he had never witnessed anything like it. That is a tournament director with years of experience running an event that has hosted world number ones and defending Grand Slam champions, saying a player ranked outside the top 30 produced something he had never seen before. Not the biggest crowd, not a great atmosphere, something unprecedented. Those are meaningfully different statements, and Talek chose the stronger one because it was accurate. What was Eala actually doing on court during all of that? She beat world number 7 Jasmine Pini of Italy in the round of 32, her first top 10 win of 2026. She then pushed deep into the quarterfinals before losing to world number 4 Coco Gauff 6-0, 6-2 in straight sets. The scoreline. She arrived in Dubai off the back of a 10-6 record for 2026. With semi-finals in Auckland and quarterfinals across multiple tournaments already stacking up, the points from those runs gave her a career high of number 31 in the world. Enough to break into the top 32 seedings at Indian Wells and earn a first-round bye for the first time in her career at a WTA 1000 event. A first-round bye means she walks straight into the round of 64 without having to play an opening match. That is a privilege earned through ranking, and it reflects how much ground she has covered in a remarkably short stretch of professional tennis. Now she's in California, where the ticket situation has followed her from the UAE with zero reduction in intensity and apparently some additional fuel from the local. Geography. California has the largest Filipino population in the entire United States, close to 2 million people. These are not fans who need to book international flights and clear customs to see her play. They are already there, already mobilized, and they descended on the Indian Wells tennis garden with a volume and energy that the ground staff was simply not ready for. The fans pressing through fences at practice court 6 were not doing so because they couldn't get tickets to a match. They were doing it because they wanted to be as close to her as physically possible at any point during the tournament under any circumstances. That level of devotion does not come from casual interest. It comes from a fan base that has been watching this specific player story develop for years and feels personally invested in every point she plays. Broadcast analysts discussed this live on air, and one of them put a question into the conversation that has since taken over the tennis world. Could Alex already be the biggest draw in women's tennis globally right now? The response from his co-analyst was not hedged. He described venues in Australia and Dubai as standing room only, called the atmosphere around her matches insane and massive, and then compared the effect she's having to what Yannick S's rise did on the men's side. Except the analysts covering EA are now saying what she's generating is actually bigger than S's moment in Miami. That is the comparison being made on air by people who cover this sport professionally. And when someone asked directly whether she's a bigger draw right now than Aryna Sabalenka or Coco Gauff, the two players most people would have named without hesitation as the sport's biggest attractions, the answer was yes. The people who are going to argue with that answer should probably explain the sold-out practice courts first. Now, let's talk about Martina Navratilova, because her comments on Eala are the part of this story that deserves the most careful attention. Navratilova has won 18 Grand Slam singles titles. She won back-to-back women's events at Indian Wells itself at age 33 and 34. She has watched the sport evolve across 5 decades, from Chrissy Evert to Steffi Graf to Serena Williams. When she discusses a rising player, her assessment carries a kind of authority that is genuinely rare in the modern tennis commentary ecosystem, where everyone has a platform and opinions are cheap. Navratilova sat down with the WTA's official platform for a Sunshine Swing preview ahead of the 2026 BNP Paribas Open. When I's name came up, she laughed before she even started speaking. People who follow Navratilova closely will tell you that laugh is not dismissive. It's the laugh of someone who recognizes something genuinely difficult to categorize. She called Eala a crafty. She noted the left-handedness as a genuine tactical weapon and said she uses her variety in a way that causes real problems for opponents. Then she pointed to the ceiling on Eala's potential and compared the cultural phenomenon building around her to Manny Pacquiao and said Eala's ceiling is actually higher than Pacquiao's ceiling. From Martina Navratilova on the WTA's own platform, about a 20-year-old ranked 32nd in the world. But Navratilova being Navratilova, she didn't stop at the praise. She went directly into the honest assessment of where Eala still has work to do. And she was specific about it: the serve. That is the area she identified as the biggest ceiling right now. She said, Eala needs a bigger serve with more kick, and acknowledged that her slight build makes it physically harder to generate the kind of pace that top 10 players use to control matches from the first shot. Here's why that assessment matters more than it might initially sound. Navratilova didn't question shot selection. She didn't raise concerns about her movement, her court sense, her ability to compete mentally against big names, or her decision-making under pressure. She identified one specific technical gap, the serve, and framed it as a physical development question rather than a strategic or mental limitation. That kind of targeted criticism from someone with Navralovas eye for the game is actually the highest compliment she could have given alongside it. She's essentially saying everything else is already functioning at a level worth taking seriously. Fix the serve and the conversation changes completely. The timing of Navratilovan's comments also lands in an interesting context. She made them in an interview where she explicitly warned Sabalenka, Swiatek and Goff that the circuit is changing around them. Players like Eala represent a generation that has tactical clarity, studies opponents methodically, and walks onto the court against established names without the psychological weight of intimidation. That is a structural shift Navratilova is identifying. Not a hot take about one player's good season, but a broader observation about how the next wave is arriving. Now, let's look at the specific pressure Eala is carrying into Indian Wells beyond just the crowd situation and the expectations. She made a stunning semi-final run at the Miami Open in 2025, beating players ranked significantly above her, including Grand Slam champions Madison Keys and Galina Ostapenko. That Miami run generated a significant points haul. Those points are now due to be defended. If her Indian Wells campaign falls short of what she achieved last year in Miami, the points drop affects her ranking at exactly the moment when the top 20 is within reach for the first time in her career. A deep run at Indian Wells, quarterfinals or beyond, could push her into the top 20. That number, top 20, changes everything. It changes seedings at Grand Slams. It changes the draws she enters. It changes the narrative from a breakthrough story to an established force. And it changes the conversation from, is she the biggest draw despite being ranked outside the top 32, is she the biggest draw full stop. The draw at Indian Wells is not kind on paper, but it is not impossible either. A win against Diana Yastramska in the round of 64 opened up the possibility of a rematch against Goff in the third round. The same Goff who beat her 6-0, 6-2 in Dubai. Beyond that, the bracket has Jasmine Paolini as a possible quarterfinal opponent. Paolini is the same player Eala already beat in Dubai for her first top 10 win of the year. The path is difficult. It is also navigable for a player who has already demonstrated she can beat top 10 competition on big stages this season. She's also competing in the doubles draw alongside Ava Yoick. World number 18, the same partnership that reached the semi-finals in Auckland in January. Competing deep in both singles and doubles, simultaneously across 2 weeks in the California Desert Test physical conditioning at a level that will tell you a lot about where her body is right now. A player who can go deep in both brackets without fading is a player who has invested seriously in her physical preparation. And every indication from her 2026 season so far suggests she has done exactly that. Christopher Eubank's safety concern about the practice court situation is the detail that crystallizes everything happening here into a single clear image. A former ATP professional making a logistical argument to tournament organizers about court assignments for a WTA player who does not yet have a main tour title to her name. The gap between her ranking and her real-world impact has become one of the most genuinely unusual storylines in recent tennis history. And it is playing out live at one of the sport's most prestigious venues. The Indian Wells Tennis Garden broke its own all-time attendance record last year at 54,268 fans across 15 days. Eala wasn't even in the draw. She wasn't in the conversation. Now she's here as a seeded player for the first time at a WTA 1000 event, and fans are pressing through fences at practice courts before a single match has been played. Navratilova laughed when my name came up. The tournament director in Dubai ran out of tickets. Broadcast analysts are comparing the phenomenon to the biggest crowd moments in recent men's tennis, and a former ATP pro is calling for bigger courts on safety grounds. The madness is real. The demand is verified, and the tennis underneath all of it is good enough to back every bit of it up. That is the full picture of what Alex Eala is doing to Indian Wells 2026 and what Martina Navratilova actually said about her that the tennis world is still processing. If this got you fired up, hit that like button and drop your prediction in the comments below. And if you're not subscribed yet, do it now. This story is far from